And now I present to you my interpretation of 100 years of beauty trends. 1920, 1930, 1940, 1950, 1960, 1970, 1980, 1990, 2010, 2020. You see all my cool hair changes and outfit changes? No? Well, that's probably because some things never really change, like the existence of women's beauty standards. Beauty standards are the rules and expectations placed onto women for how they should dress, appear, or act. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. I know beauty standards are bad because they create an unrealistic standard that the average woman can never achieve. And this is true, but women should still be able to feel beautiful, confident, comfortable, and happy with themselves. The more insidious problem is that beauty standards are established and supported by systems that are traditionally used to oppress women, patriarchy and capitalism. And they've been doing so for a long time. Summarizing the philosopher Immanuel Kant's belief in aesthetic pleasure from the Critique of Judgment, published in 1790, author Alan Cooper says, "Woman may be aware of the form of beauty that is considered by the male subject, but it is in fact this standard that creates the subject and who has the ultimate power to acknowledge its existence." This is no less true today. Beauty companies take what men find attractive in women and persuade women into thinking their products will make them more attractive to men. So, how do we resolve the dichotomy of allowing women to feel beautiful without contributing to their own oppression? First, let's prime this discussion by talking about how the patriarchy affects women's experiences with beauty standards. Then, we'll apply the foundation of our argument through a look at the history of the way patriarchy and capitalism drive beauty consumerism. Then finally, we'll set this story with some solutions on how we can work towards a future where women can feel beautiful and empowered at the same time. And you're in good hands because I love feeling beautiful. There's nothing like getting ready on a special occasion, like this past spring when it was finally time for a concert I had been looking forward to and meticulously planning the perfect outfit for months. I wore skirt heels and a full face of makeup, and I was ready when it was time to finally fly to DC to see my favorite K-pop group. It wasn't until I got to the stadium how much I realized I love complimenting the outfits of other fans and being complimented in return. That was until I walked outside, and I was taking pictures in front of the arena when a man walked by and yelled at me, "Come on with me, baby!" Then he shuffled forward really weirdly. Thankfully, my mom was there to scare him off with a few choice words, and by pointing out that at the time I was only 15. But this means he didn't stop because he realized what he was doing was inappropriate or because I looked uncomfortable. He only stopped because he realized his proposition was illegal. He saw me in a skirt and heels and felt the need to objectify me. A study published in the journal Current Psychology on men's objectification of women found that men's social dominance orientation directly correlated with their objectification of women. In other words, men objectified women to increase feelings of dominance. If we consider these findings along with Kant's assessment that men are the subject of beauty standards, we see a vicious cycle meant to remove power from women to appease men. And today, we don't have to look far to see this cycle in action. Let's take one of the most popular podcasts in America, the Joe Rogan Experience, for example. Joe Rogan, host of this podcast, is known for his so-called locker room talk and casual racism throughout his show. Even after Netflix has removed almost 100 episodes of his show from their platform, he is still widely consumed and influential on other streaming platforms. In episode 1960 of his show, he mentions Hedy Lamarr, one of the women who helped to invent Wi-Fi. He leads with her status as a Hollywood actress in the 1930s, briefly calls her brilliant, but then in the same breath says, "Nobody really cares though, because she was hot." Then he laughed. Deep down, or perhaps not so deep down, Rogan knows he's incapable of making even a fraction of Lamarr's contributions to the progress of human communication. Instead, he sits there and makes pseudo-intellectual claims like how being woke is akin to killing bees. So, of course, he had to reduce a brilliant woman's achievements to the attributes that pleased him. Who cares if she's more well-known and smarter than he'll ever be, as long as in the end she was hot? To acknowledge reality is to threaten his dominance. In a system supported and run by men like Joe Rogan, women will continue to be brought down to the attributes that please men. And the more women that try to fit into the system, the more they will be contributing to their own oppression. But women should still be able to feel beautiful and confident and have their achievements not diminish and have their attributes not diminish from their achievements. As referenced by Kant's essay in my introduction, patriarchal-driven beauty standards have been around for a long time. However, it wasn't until the advent of print media and circulation at the turn of the 20th century that businesses began to take advantage of this. For example, a Palmolive ad from the early 1920s states, Most men ask if she's pretty, not if she's clever. Such an ad reduces a woman's value to her ability to please men. At the turn of the 20th century, women did not yet have the right to vote and could not access credit without a man. Women needed men for safety and security, and brands specializing in women's beauty products took this to their advantage. Ads done by brands like Nadolia targeted black women. A skin whitening ad from the turn of the 20th century stated that their products would give better job positions and mostly better marriages after use. There was no woman who was safe from the ads that bottled up her hopes and stuffed it into her insecurities. The thought process of the time was, if you have a man, you better keep him. We see this in a Gillette advertisement from 1917, marketing their new feminine razor, the Milady Decolette. The ad stated that the Milady Decolette was a beautiful addition to Milady's toilet table, and one that stops an embarrassing problem. By calling body hair embarrassing, the advertisers simultaneously create a standard, shame women into following the standard, and use this insecurity to sell their product. And this trend with shaving would never end. Even today, shaving is seen as something that is almost essential for women to do. A study done by Leguia Azevedo at Brandeis University in 2021 shows that when men had to choose between 3 pictures of women and categorize them under which they found most attractive, 95.2% of men categorized the hairless woman as the most attractive. So ladies, don't forget to remove all of your natural body hair, but also don't forget to keep the natural look. A study published in the journal Current Psychology in 2022 found that when men considered women more marriage material if they appeared to wear less makeup. With data like this, it's no wonder the most popular and recognizable advertisement strapline from the late 20th to early 21st century is, "Maybe she's born with it," or "Maybe it's Maybelline." This very catchy and sometimes annoying advertisement is directed towards women, with its flawless natural beauties running around a field or staring into the camera intensely. But it's not actually talking to women. If it were talking to women, it would say, "Maybe you're born with it." But as it stands, women are once again the object and men remain the subject. There's nothing wrong with wearing makeup, but large-scale beauty companies will make you feel like you have to wear it in order to fit in. Beauty companies manipulate our desire to be desired and exploit our insecurities in the name of profit. When we allow large-scale beauty companies to dictate the lives of women and how they're perceived, we allow everyone to strip us of our right for the approval of the men around us. Beauty standards like the natural look may be a part of a patriarchal and capitalist system that's existed for centuries, but women should still have as much a right to feeling as beautiful and confident as these men certainly think they do. So, how do we resolve the dichotomy of allowing women to feel beautiful and confident without contributing to their own oppression? There are 2 main ways in which we can do this, and the first is from a societal point of view. For example, have you ever had an experience where you were talking about something like homecoming with your friends? Then after you scrolled through Instagram only to see every other ad or suggested post recommending a new dress, makeup, or hairstyle? With the rise of targeted ads, women are more vulnerable than ever to predatory advertisements. Legislative efforts to protect consumer privacy online are being made right now, and you can help by encouraging your congressional representatives to continue expanding the American Data Privacy and Protection Act to completely ban targeted advertisements. Second, on an individual level, we can stop engaging with large-scale beauty companies and start supporting independent, women-owned beauty brands. The next time you search for a makeup look, maybe try something alternative. These looks may seem daring, but many of them are made to intentionally subvert male-driven beauty standards. And while we're at it, let's talk about the men driving these standards. If you have friends or family who listen to podcasts like Joe Rogan, you can help by decreasing their viewership, which decreases their credibility. If we work towards these solutions, the next 100 years of beauty trends can look like trends that make women feel beautiful to themselves instead of making them look beautiful to everyone else. Thank you.